In the spring of 2002, a woman in Mississippi began auditing her own company. At night, in secret, because she was afraid of what daylight might tell them she was looking for. Her name was Cynthia Cooper. What she found inside WorldCom was a hole $11 billion deep, and the largest bankruptcy America had ever seen. This is how empires fall. Not the story of a genius, the story of an ordinary accountant, a cowboy chief executive, and a single accounting trick that turned costs into profit. Until it couldn't. Bernie Ebbers was not a technologist. He had been a milkman, a bar bouncer, a basketball coach. In 1983, in a Mississippi coffee shop, he and a few partners sketched out a long-distance phone company. They called it LDDS. Over 15 years, through more than 60 acquisitions, it became WorldCom. And in 1997, it swallowed a company far larger than itself, MCI. The cowboy from Mississippi now ran one of the largest telecom empires on Earth. His fortune rested on one thing: the stock. He had borrowed hundreds of millions of dollars against his own WorldCom shares. While the price climbed, he was a billionaire. If it fell, he was ruined. Then, around 2000, the telecom boom died. Revenue stalled. The stock began to slide. And Wall Street was still waiting for the endless growth Ebbers had always promised, so the numbers were made to grow. The method was almost boring. WorldCom paid billions in line costs, fees to carry calls over other companies' networks. Those are expenses. Someone decided to call them something else: investments. By recording line costs as capital assets, not expenses, WorldCom turned losses into profit with a keystroke, quarter after quarter. The gap between the story and the truth eventually reached roughly $11 billion. Prosecutors would say the orders ran down from the head of finance, Chief Financial Officer Scott Sullivan. Ebbers, they argued, knew. Ebbers would insist he understood nothing about accounting at all. What the executives did not count on was their own internal auditor. Cynthia Cooper had received an anonymous tip. When she started asking questions, the chief financial officer told her to stop. She did not stop. With a small team, she worked after hours, copying records before they could be altered, tracing billions of dollars that had been booked with nothing behind them. In June 2002, she told the board what she had found. Days later, WorldCom admitted it: profit that had never existed. On July 21st, it filed for bankruptcy, the largest in American history. The cowboy fell hard. In 2005, Bernie Ebbers was convicted on every count and sentenced to 25 years. He told the court he was a simple man who had trusted the wrong people. The jury did not believe him. Scott Sullivan, who cooperated, served 5. Tens of thousands of employees lost their jobs, and Congress, shaken first by Enron and now by this, passed a law forcing executives to personally sign for their numbers. Sarbanes-Oxley. Ebbers was released in December 2019, frail and nearly blind. He died weeks later, at 78. WorldCom was not a sophisticated fraud. That is the lesson. It was a simple lie, told at enormous scale, by men who believed the next quarter would let them quietly fix it. It never came. 20 years on, a younger man would lose more money, faster, and ask a president to erase his sentence. His file is already open on this channel. Case 001. Different decade. Same hubris. This is Hubris: How Empires Fall. A new collapse every week. Subscribe and decide for yourself. Was Bernie Ebbers a fraud, or just the last man to admit